Guys, this is something that I've just kind of thought about recently, and only because there's been a lot of different movement, and a lot of stuff that's happened post SummerSlam, and it sort of made me come back to this. I feel like Chad Gable is currently being fucking robbed more than anyone else potentially on the entire WWE roster, or main roster, I should say. Chad Gable, without a doubt, since WrestleMania, was the most over heel probably in the company. Think about it. There was nobody on SmackDown who was more over as a heel than him, and especially Raw. I don't know anyone who else, maybe other than Drew McIntyre, I guess, but he's in a very specific situation with CM Punk, so he's not just a general heel. Chad Gable has been immense. He was carrying Raw for the first part of since Mania, for the first part of the year since Mania. He was completely carrying Raw. His feud with Sami Zayn was completely carrying Raw. Him and his allegiance turning against Alpha Academy, or Alpha Academy eventually turning on him, I should say, that carried Raw. That was one of the best stories going on in Raw. Obviously, Drew McIntyre and Punk, like I said, that was in the background too, but he was carrying Raw. Damian Priest wasn't having too many captivating feuds with the World Heavyweight Championship, and obviously there was the Liv Morgan stuff with the Judgment Day, but Chad Gable was one of the people, without a doubt, carrying Raw. And as a heel, he got completely over as a heel. This is a guy who's not really gotten that type of pop as a heel ever in his career. Obviously he has, he's been booed before, but he was one of the best heels at that point. And look, and I said it before, he didn't need to win the IC title immediately. After, I don't think, with all those matches against Sami Zayn, so I don't think it was necessarily, cut and dry. Chad Gable should have been the IC champion. No, but now he's never going to be the IC champion. Literally. Now he's never going to win any singles title, at least until 2025. The bare minimum. Let's go over a couple things, okay? So yeah, he didn't get the IC title after being one of the best heels since Mania. That's fine, okay? I liked Sami Zayn on the title. I liked what he was doing. He was elevating people while carrying that title. So Sami Zayn was doing a fine job. But later down the line, he loses Money in the Bank. I kind of clamored for him to win Money in the Bank. I kind of wanted him to win Money in the Bank because he didn't even need to have the briefcase and cash in immediately. He could have held the briefcase and held it for a long, long, long sustained period of time. And I get it. They don't want the briefcase to be relevant. I completely understand that. And that's why they gave it to Drew McIntyre, and that's why they did what they did. And I understand. But it's like, Chad Gable could have held it for well over into a year, into about a year. He could have had it for literally a whole calendar year. And no one would have complained. No one would have complained at all. Chad Gable, or he could have used it on the IC title or some mid-card title. That's been done before with Austin Theory. So it's like, the payoff is not there with Chad Gable. For a guy who's gotten progressively more over with the crowd, and then progressively he ends up becoming a heel and getting really over as a heel after Mania and nothing. So what happens next? There's no payoff match with Otis. No payoff with the Alpha Academy whatsoever. That's garbage. Chad Gable completely deserved to beat Otis, to be honest. I get they want to protect Otis to a certain extent because he's getting over, but it's like, let him beat Otis. Let him beat Otis. Or Otis beat him, or something happened with that story. Something should have happened. Some grudge match should have happened. I'll bet any money in the world that happens at Mania. Or most likely, they're going to do, and they're going to hype that up, which is bullshit for Chad Gable. It really is. But no payoff match with Otis. And he should have beaten Otis in any payoff match. They could have done that at SummerSlam. A rubber match, or not a rubber match, I guess, because that's not a rubber match in definition, but some big match, some big hype match between the two, and it was possible he could have won cheaply, okay? So you could run it back anyways. Otis wouldn't have lost momentum. But no, nothing for Chad Gable. Okay, so what happens next? They do the whole Wyatt 6 thing. Okay, I like that. I think that story made sense. Okay, let him go against Bo Dallas. Why did he go against... So basically, their whole story of the Wyatt 6 is practically over at this point. Why? Why did they just lose outright in a six-man tag match? And Bo Dallas wasn't even involved. Uncle Howdy Bo Dallas was not even involved. He was just watching on the sideline as Chad Gable took the fucking pin against the Wyatt 6. Absolute disrespect to Chad Gable's character. Look, they gave him a new faction, so I should give him credit to that. He's been on a bunch of pay-per-views. Give him credit for that. But it's like, what else does a man need to do to get over, as and get his rewards and get what he deserves? Honestly, it's just like, what else does he have to do? Win a title. Like, give him a title. Give him some payoff match at SummerSlam with Bo Dallas or Otis. One of the two. Couldn't do that. Instead, he has to lose on Raw in a six-man tag. He has to take the fucking pin to Dexter Lumis, I think. I don't even remember. It was Gacy or Lumis. So it's like, I don't know if I like that. I don't like that at all, actually. I don't. And let's put it in perspective. Braun Breaker winning the IC title means he's not going to get the fucking IC title until at least 2025. At least. Which brings me to my next point. Why is he on Raw still? He probably should not be on Raw. The Alpha Academy probably should be moved to SmackDown because Chad Gable could have an incredible feud. He's one of the most over heels right now in the company. He could have an incredible feud with Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship, the Undisputed Championship. Easily. He easily could. There's nobody else right now on the roster who can give him a convincing feud. On SmackDown, there's no convincing heels at the moment. I could do a whole separate video on this. There's no good heels on SmackDown. None. There's no main eventers on SmackDown left. It's been barren now. They moved LA Knight officially to the mid-card. He's a U.S. champion. There's no main eventers. There's nothing left. Like, there's nothing left. It's the Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles in some capacity maybe. Randy Orton's now going to be going for the World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther. Kevin Owens is there, I guess. What the fuck? Like, why? Move Chad Gable to SmackDown. Let him go against Cody Rhodes. It'd be the All-American feud. You could do some sort of All-American... it would American thematic feud. I don't know how it would go, but it's there. It's possible. You can do it. And it's like nothing for this guy. Nothing. I don't know what he has to do. I know he's a little bit small, and maybe that's why he gets disrespected. But it's like, what does this guy need to do to get like a real, first of all, a title or a legitimate feud where he gets over and wins? Nothing. He loses all his feuds. He looked like a bum against fucking Sami Zayn. He's pretty much the whole heat with Otis and the Alpha Academy's died down. He's definitely got buried by the Wyatt Six. Him and the Alpha Academy. Why build up the Alpha Academy just to have him lose immediately to the Wyatt Six? That's something I couldn't stand either. Very disrespectful, man. It's very disrespectful to Chad Gable because I don't know. Other people definitely look at this on the roster and they're like, this guy did everything to get over and he can't win a goddamn title. Can't win any mid-card titles. Is not going to win a singles title anytime soon. Braun Breaker's going to hold the IC title for a long fucking time. It's a little disappointing, man. I don't know what else this guy has to do, and I've grown to like him a lot. So it's like there was definitely a lot of options with him. And look, they gave him American Made or whatever the fuck this faction is, but it's like that is not enough. That is simply put not enough. It's just not enough. I don't know. They're gonna job out on fucking Raw. It looks like at this point. So I don't know. Move him to SmackDown. Let him go against Cody Rhodes. Give us the All-American feud, and just let that go on for 2 pay-per-views. Seriously, let it go on for 2 pay-per-views. It could be very convincing. It would give Chad Gable a real platform to work with.